afternoon. Now that Jessica Schopenhauer is here, we can start our meeting. So glad that you could join us today at the 5,281st meeting of the Rotary Club of Tulsa, Club 2500, District 6110. We are glad you are here, and you are going to be glad that you came. We've got a great program planned today. Before we begin, past President Chuck Wilson, a multiple Rotary Club of Tulsa award winner, will lead us in the invocation and pledge, after which he will introduce our guests.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. This is World Understanding Month, and Rotary focuses on international goodwill, peace, and understanding. Let us pray. Creator of all, we come before you with heavy hearts, seeking peace in a world often divided by fear and misunderstanding. We ask that you soften hardened hearts and mend broken spirits across nations. Grant us the wisdom to see the humanity in our neighbors, even when we differ. Replace the instinct for conflict with a longing for harmony. Give leaders the insight to guide with justice and compassion, and help us to be instruments of peace in our own communities. We pray for an end to violence and for a world where understanding, love, and unity prevail. Amen. And now let's honor our country by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Now you only do the... Okay. Well, we welcome all of our guests who are with us here today. Jason Adair is not only the guest of James Adair, but he's the son of James Adair. Jason, we're glad to have you. He is with Adair Electric Incorporated, by the way. David Miller with PCC Cleaning and Restoration is the guest today of Ken Freeman. Mary Beth Sawyer is hosting Coleman Miller, who is with Rate, Inc. And Brian Bovard has with him today Amanda Fisher, who is with Outdoor Classroom. And Ashanti Chaplin, who is the Director of Public Art and Community Partnerships for the City of Tulsa, is a special guest of our Board of Directors today. We're so glad to have all of you. Would you please welcome them? Thank you. Mr. President.
At this time, please join me in welcoming our fabulous one and only Sergeant at Arms, Shanna Vollmer.
It's great to see everyone. Good afternoon. All right, we've got some celebrations today. Even had a last-minute one that I'm excited about as well. We have a happy birthday to our one and only DJ Morrow. Is for February 1st. $100. Fun fact. Yeah. Is DJ here today? Darn it. Fun fact for DJ, and I was going to give her a hard time about this. 37 years in Rotary, 31 of those in the Tulsa Rotary. I was like, gosh, did she join when she was a teenager? I didn't know they let teenagers in. So anyway, that's great. Happy birthday, DJ. If you see her. Oh, you are here. Sorry. There you are. And our surprise one before I move on, Rob Berry, where are you? There you are. His birthday is tomorrow. Happy early birthday, Rob. He donated $100. I didn't get it in time, so I'll sneak in his picture one day. Thank you very much, and happy birthday to you. All right, if you can go back one. So sorry. All right, so I love this. And where's our MVP? Tommy Lynn back there. She always finds great content. She found this article in Tulsa People here. So Carol, where are you? Are you in the room? White Hill right back there. Carol's husband was featured in the Tulsa People magazine. So if you didn't get a chance to catch this article on Ross, make sure you go online or get your copy. Carol, thank you for your donation for $50 for the foundation. We also got a donation from Tim Knoll. Tommy Lynn said they had a great time at Tim Knoll's house, got to do a tour of the house on the fireside chats. Great dinner, and I see there was even a king cake. Was this king cake brought in especially for this? So heard great things about their fireside chat, so he donated $50 for the people. I think there were 6 of them that showed up to his house, so thank you, Tim Knoll. Also, I don't know if you guys knew, but 46 years ago, being a speaker at Camp Enterprise is what brought Scott Philstrip for us. I see him over there in the corner. Thank goodness for that speaking opportunity with Camp Enterprise, because he's been such a great asset member for Rotary for many years. Scott donated $1,000. Thank you so much, Scott, for that kind donation to Camp Enterprise. And I love this. He sent some pictures of some of that was this 82, 84, 90 of some of the guides and Camp Enterprise meetings. I thought that was great to see. And also, congratulations, Scott. For those of you who don't know, the new grand opening and building the Scott Philstrip Experiential Learning Center in honor of his name. There's this great correlation between Camp Enterprise and junior achievement. So, Scott, congratulations. Thanks for sharing. And I did forget on Rob Berry's, that donation is going to the Above and Beyond part of our program. So, I want to make sure I announce that. I promise you it's coming soon. Bob and I have had to reschedule. But I'm not letting him get out of this. I promise you. We're going to hear from Bob Sade very, very soon. But I want to take this opportunity. I want to do this live. I need some more people. So I'm happy to split it with you, but I need some recommendations. Just raise your hand, yell out a name. Who can I go interview that we want to hear more about? A lot of great people in this organization. Someone call out someone that we would love to hear their story.
Ray Tullius.
I knew he would. Ray? All right. Ray, is he in the room? Ray, are you hiding? Are you hiding, Ray? See, they start to hide from me. All right, Ray, I'm coming for you. Thank you, Carl, for that. There you go. Who? Hannibal? All right. I love it. I've got more people to interview. Go ahead. Say it again. Prima Donna. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for adding people to my list for me to, so I'm going to write all those down. Thank you guys very much. I look forward to doing those interviews and sharing with you. Have a great day.
We probably ought to put Phil Viles on that list, Shanna. I'm a little afraid of what he might say on camera, but could be an interesting interview, certainly a colorful life, no doubt. I want to thank everybody who volunteered and hosted at the fireside meetings last week, and to everybody who gave their time and energy at Junior Achievement Day at Celia Clinton. Your willingness to step forward in service is a true reflection of Rotary's service above self, strengthening our fellowship, investing in youth, and making a lasting impact on our community. You know, we've got Camp Enterprise coming up, as you've heard. Brian Bovaird is sitting there. Scott Philstrip brought this program from the 1984 edition of Camp Enterprise. And it was May 3rd through 6th, 1984. This year it's the 2nd through the 4th, I believe. But you look at some of the speakers that were at that event. Jim Malone, who was president of Facet Enterprises. Rick Douglas, area VP of City Corp. Mark Kortner, who was then he was an account executive, not general manager of KOTV Tulsa. Jeff Davis, President of Arby's, Stan Johnson, who ran the Stan Johnson Company and about 5 years ago sold out to become Northmark. And just, it's a who's who of Tulsa business people. What a great event to host for the youth in Tulsa. Scott, thank you for bringing that. Case Anderson is chairing that for us. We're still looking for some volunteers. The camp enterprise has been moved closer to Tulsa. It's now in Manford, so it doesn't take very long to get there. It's April 9th through 12th, so it's coming up. We still need some volunteers. Brian, wave at us for a second. Brian Bovaird, kind of wave at us so people will know. If you could help us and volunteer even a few hours out there, please talk to Brian. The other thing to remember is if you have a grandchild, a niece, or a nephew, or someone that would enjoy that, let us know, let them know about Camp Enterprise so that we can get them involved. They will enjoy the curriculum. Now, a little bit of Rotary DNA for you today. This past Monday, February 23rd, Rotary International marked 121 years since Paul Harris founded our organization. 121 years of fellowship, service, and a vision that continues to shape our world. From the pages of our Tulsa Rotary archives, as researched by the lovely and talented Tina Miller, the archives from November 20th, 1937 were transported to a remarkable evening when more than 900 Rotarians from this area and their wives from across the district gathered at the Tulsa Coliseum for a Rotary Roundup. It was an event headlined by Rotary's founder himself, Paul Harris of Chicago. The vast Tulsa Coliseum arena was transformed into a celebration of fellowship. An orchestra played throughout the dinner hour and into the evening. There were long rows of tables on the north and south sides of that arena, filled up with the folks that were enjoying their food. The center of the floor was transformed into a giant dance floor. Illuminated columns bearing the Rotary emblem, latticework, and the flags of nations where Rotary was present framed the scene, along with a large American flag forming the backdrop. Hallmarks of Rotary International's vision already taking root around the world. Suddenly, through the swinging doors between the service area and the dance floor and the dining area, the servers came bustling out. They were carrying trays full of turkey and dressing and all the trimmings. This was a pre-Thanksgiving Rotary celebration. At the head table, before a brilliantly lit Rotary wheel, the leaders of Rotary and our own club, district governors, visiting dignitaries, and the Tulsa Rotary Club president, R.C. Walker, gathered to honor the quiet, unassuming man whose simple idea changed the world. For those of you who don't know R.C. Walker, the president at that time, he was in the insurance business. He became later, in 1955, the district governor for this district. His offices were at 8 East 3rd Street. At that time, it was known as the McBurney Building. Today, we know it as the former Parker Drilling Building. The evening was intentionally informal. Fellowship, and I assume other forms of lubrication, flowed easily, and the dance floor remained full. Then came the moment everyone had waited for. Paul Harris was introduced, and the entire crowd rose to its feet, applauding thunderously. Paul Harris spoke plainly and modestly as he was, not about past stands as a refutation of the notion that we are placed on this earth merely to accumulate possessions. Instead, it calls us to a larger vision, service, integrity, and concern for others. He spoke of those who had lost hope during the Great Depression and the thousands of teachers who, although they were unpaid, they continued their work with children in faith and dedication, an enduring expression of service above self. At the conclusion of Paul Harris' address at that event, Tulsa Rotarians presented him with a painting of a buffalo hunt by famous Indian artist A.C. Blue Eagle. A.C. Blue Eagle founded the art department at Bacone College in 1935. In the 1950s, he actually hosted a children's program on KOTV, the Chief Blue Eagle Show, and he talked about Native American traditions and other tribal concerns, and he was quite a remarkable guy. You can see one of his works. He did a lot of works that were funded by the Federal Art Project during that time. You can still see one of his works if you go to the Colgate, Oklahoma post office. It's a big mural right there in the post office. If you get down that way, it's worth the trip. Paul Harris, when he received this, was deeply moved, and in fact, the next day, he drove to Muskogee to get Chief Blue Eagle to sign that work of art. After giving the painting to Paul Harris, Harry Evans, director of Tulsa Rotarians, Men of Note, it wasn't the Men of Note at that time, but it was a singing group, they lifted their voices in the evening's entertainment, and President R.C. Walker spoke for a few minutes. He extended a heartfelt message expressing the hope that the fellowship shared that night would one day bring our Rotary friends back to the city of Tulsa. And now, 121 years after that first 1915 meeting that started Rotary in Chicago, Paul Harris' vision remains unchanged. It lives wherever Rotarians gather in friendship, wherever service rises above self, and wherever we carry his work forward together in Rotary. In fact, 89 years after that 1937 conference, on May 2nd here in Tulsa, we're hosting the District 6110 conference. I hope that you might be able to make the time to attend that conference and experience the spirit of Rotary there. It's right at the Renaissance Hotel at 71st and Highway 169. Everybody can find that, so I hope you'll make it. I get to introduce another incredible Rotarian of the day. This guy is a nuclear scientist, among other things. Eric Ortega is an engineer, an international project manager, a retired technology consultant with more than 35 years of experience helping organizations transition from paper-based systems to fully automated, connected operations. And this is long before the cloud was a tool. He founded and led Alstral Inc. in Tulsa from 1986 to 2017, delivering practical telecom and software solutions across healthcare, manufacturing, oil, and retail. Earlier in his career, he managed major infrastructure and nuclear energy-related projects throughout the U.S. and Latin America. And he even spent a year in Italy as a live sound engineer. Eric holds a master's degree in engineering and project management from the University of Texas at Austin and a doctorate in civil engineering from the Universidad Nacional de Colombia. A Rotarian since 1981 and Rotary Club of Tulsa Rotarian of the Year in 2012-2013, Eric speaks Spanish, English, and Italian and lives in Tulsa with his wife. Together they have 5 children and 6 grandchildren, which he believes are his most rewarding long-term projects. Please welcome our Rotarian of the Day, Eric Ortega.
Our speaker today, Devon Laney, President and CEO of Gradient here in Tulsa. Since 2019, he has led the development of one of the nation's 6 largest nonprofit innovation and entrepreneurship hub, housed in a restored historic warehouse and home to Oklahoma's largest certified technology incubator program, helping startups grow, create jobs, and generate over $1.4 billion in direct economic impact, supporting hundreds of companies and thousands of jobs. Before coming to Tulsa, Devon spent more than 14 years leading Innovation Depot in Birmingham, one of the Southeast's most recognized business incubation organizations. During his tenure, Innovation Depot achieved consecutive record-setting years. Earlier, he worked with Accenture in Atlanta, advising Fortune 500 companies on strategy and customer experience initiatives. Devon, a Rotarian and Paul Harris Fellow, has been recognized as one of the Birmingham Business Journal's top 40 under 40, a past chair of the International Business Innovation Association, and a frequent speaker on entrepreneurship and innovation. Currently serves on the boards of the Global Venture Hubs Network and Amplify Louisville. In Oklahoma, he serves on the advisory boards for I2E, Cortado Ventures, and Soldier's Wish. Devon holds an MBA and a bachelor's degree in the international business from the University of Alabama, and is also a graduate of Harvard Business School's Young American Leaders Program. Devon, an Alabama native, lives in Midtown Tulsa with his wife Tara, a Tulsa native, and enjoys traveling, college football, and live music. Please join me in welcoming Devon Laney.
Wow, thank you very much. Good afternoon. So glad to be here. Eric, thank you for the introduction. You know, as a fellow Rotarian, any chance to speak to a Rotary Club is such an honor and a privilege, and I really appreciate it, and especially here in Tulsa. You know, I've been here now 7 years, and I met my wife here, and it is home, and I love it, and it's just great to be here with this group of people, and so I'm really excited about that. I tried my best to have some special guests, you know, in the gallery, kind of sticking with the theme of the last couple of days. I don't have any Olympic gold medalists, unfortunately. I'm sorry, and so you'll just have to just stick with me today. And also, please, I know there are probably going to be some questions at the end. I did go to school at the University of Alabama, undergrad and graduate, so if we could just refrain from any football questions, I sure would appreciate that. My wife went to OU, and so I get enough of those at home, if it, you know, just between us. But I really am excited to be here and excited to talk about and really share about what I think is a really exciting time in Tulsa and a really exciting future for Tulsa. And I'm a big believer in entrepreneurship and innovation as drivers for economic prosperity and growth and mobility. I'm the product of entrepreneurship. I tell people all the time that you know, I wouldn't exist if it were not for entrepreneurship. And I say that because my grandfather was a pilot in World War II, and he married a young woman from England, and they stayed in England after the war. My mom was born there, and then after the war came over to the States, and my grandfather, who I never met, but decided to locate in a small town in rural Alabama because he wanted to start a radio station. And there were no radio stations in so many hundred square miles of that small rural town in Alabama, so that's why he chose that town. And my mom grew up in that town and met my father, who's from that small town, so I exist because of entrepreneurship. And I just believe in the power that it has to transform people and communities and the opportunity that it brings. I also think about the legacy that entrepreneurship brings and the fact that we need to think about entrepreneurship and the support of entrepreneurship as a driver of our economic development strategy. The same way we think about recruiting large companies and workforce development, we need to think about entrepreneurship the same way. So my comments today around entrepreneurship and what we're doing at Gradient come from a place of respect from me personally and belief in what we're doing and the power of what we're doing. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to talk today about that. So Gradient, for those of you that don't know, a lot of people will say, well, what is Gradient? Well, we're a nonprofit. We're a nonprofit organization. We're focused exclusively on economic development. We do that through the support of entrepreneurs, small businesses, remote workers, startups. We think of Gradient as the place where Tulsa can build its future. We think of it as a driver for economic impact and growth for the region long term. We haven't always been called Gradient. The organization was founded back in 2016. Originally started as 36 Degrees North. That name may sound familiar. 36 Degrees North was founded back in 2016. It was a public-private partnership. A group came together and said, we need a place in Tulsa to house and support entrepreneurs. And so they got together and they took a small 12,000 square foot space in the Arts District, the old Ford Model T factory there, assembly building there, and transformed that into 36 Degrees North, 12,000 square feet, opened in 2016. 2018, due to being full and a need for additional capacity, they opened a second location called Camp 2. That was over by the ballpark. It was a little bit smaller, about 8,000 square feet. That was more of the same type of space, co-working space, flexible office space, again, focused on supporting entrepreneurs, small businesses, remote workers. I got to Tulsa in 2019, was recruited here from Birmingham, Alabama, as you heard. I had previously, after I went to University of Alabama and finished up grad school, I had my own business. I started my own business when I was in graduate school, in college, and I grew that business and ultimately sold that business, and then went to work for Accenture, doing sort of strategic, consulting and working with a lot of big projects at big companies. But I always had this urge and this desire to support small business and entrepreneurship. I just believed in what it did. And so when the opportunity came to move back to Alabama and go work with a woman there to launch an organization called Innovation Depot, I did that. It was a nonprofit, very similar to what we do now at Gradient. And so when I ran Innovation Depot until 2019, was recruited to Tulsa in 2019, and really when I arrived, 36 Degrees North had a solid foundation, a very strong foundation of partnership, community support, and members that were there working and building their businesses and trying to grow their businesses. But we felt that there was a need to really do more, that we could do more intentionally around the support and the infrastructure and the programming. And so in 2021, we launched our incubator location, which was, and now we still are, the largest state-certified incubator in Oklahoma. We took an entire floor of the City Hall building, 50,000 square feet. We renovated that, kinda, and made it work for what we needed it to work for. And it was really a proof of concept, just to show that Tulsa had the demand for this type of service and that we could provide the resources that those entrepreneurs needed. Within the first 6 months of opening our incubator, we were about 90% full in that location. Our other two locations were full. And so that accelerated the timeline for really the ultimate goal, which was to bring all of these different programs, these different resources, these different partners, to bring all of that together under one roof to truly create density and to create a hub for all this activity for the region. So in 2023, we purchased the former Otasco warehouse in downtown Tulsa. I drove by that building my first 5 years I was here and always dreamed. I thought, man, that is just an incredible, incredible building. It was so unique, and it was just vacant, and I kept thinking, that would be just a fantastic development if we could ever make that work. And we were fortunate that we were able to acquire the building. It had been vacant for probably close to 40 years. Otasco was the original owner and builder of the building, built in the early 1920s, closed in the mid-'80s, and was vacant until we bought the building at the end of 2023. We then began a renovation project using historic tax credits and making sure that we were taking advantage of all the opportunities to honor the history of the building, but to bring it in and restore the building in a way that would be intentional for our programming and intentional for the people that we serve. And then in 2025, after about an 18-month process, we opened. We closed our 3 other locations as 36 Degrees North. We combined all of those resources, all of those members, all of those programs into one location, and we rebranded. We changed our name from 36 Degrees North to Gradient. And people ask a lot of times why we chose to change the name. 36 degrees north is the latitude that Tulsa sits on. It's also the latitude that a lot of other cities sit on, Nashville being one of those. Nashville has a large entrepreneurship program called 3686, which is their latitude and longitude. And around the country, there were a lot of 36 degrees or adjacent type names of organizations. And we wanted to be something that was unique, that we could own the name, and that would be authentic to Tulsa. And so Gradient was chosen. Gradient is a name from physics. It's a term from physics. It means literally the change in density from one point to another. So it actually means growth, which is really what people come to Gradient for, growth. So that building is 115,000 square feet. It's actually 3 buildings. It's a 5-story, a 3-story, and a 2-story, but they're all connected. 115,000 square feet. This is what it looked like in the past. At some point, this picture we think was taken in the late 20s, early 30s. It's right by the train tracks on Cheyenne Avenue downtown. So it's actually on the last brick street in downtown, which is pretty amazing also. So that's what it looked like. It had been vacant for 40 years when we purchased the building, and this is what it looks like today. So we've redone the building, completely renovated it. We cut the middle of the building out, all 5 stories, and created a massive 5-story atrium in the building. We have an on-site restaurant that'll be opening in just a couple of weeks, which is open to the public, but also opens to all of our members, and really allowed us the ability to create programs in space that were intentionally designed for the purpose that we needed them for. So the resources we provide, the kinds of programming we provide, the kinds of activities that we host, we needed a space that would allow that to happen. Gradient, at its core, is about the people that are housed there. So today we have over 4,000 members. Those are individuals. Those are small business owners. They're entrepreneurs. They're remote workers. They're freelancers. They're capital providers. They're resource partners. We have university partners there. We try to bring all of those things together under one roof to really create a hub for the region, for Northeast Oklahoma, so that there's density and there's proximity. If you need a resource, if you don't know where to start, if you don't know where to go, if you don't know where to find certain things, chances are, through Gradient, we can connect you, or they're on site, or they're adjacent. They're right there. We host programs daily. We host boot camps, workshops. We have an accelerator program. We run our incubator program. All of these are free. There's no cost for any of those things. Members get access to our programs. Membership depends on what you need. Some people just need a place to have meetings. Some people just want a desk. Some people want a one-person small private office. Some people, for their team, want a larger office. Everything is very flexible. Everything is inclusive. The thing that excites me most about this is that our industry, the innovation, entrepreneurship, support industry, if you look at it nationally, you think about the traditional hubs of where people think about this kind of activity. San Francisco, New York, Boston, Austin, Texas. Those are the places people think of, Chicago, right? If you look nationally at the largest innovation and entrepreneurship hubs, Gradient is now the 6th largest in America, in Tulsa, which is pretty impressive. Thank you, yeah, thank you. I think, I'm proud of that because I think it speaks to the energy and the vibrancy of what's happening here. I also think it speaks to the level of alignment that is something that someone who came to Tulsa witnessed firsthand. The level of alignment across public sector, private sector, philanthropic, community, business, everyone thinking and understanding that entrepreneurship and the support of entrepreneurs is a key piece of our long-term strategy of success. If we don't intentionally put resources and infrastructure in place to support the growth of businesses, then the long-term prospects for a regional economy are less bright. And we need to really focus on that. And so there was a realization of that. Doing something like Gradient is difficult. It's a $40 million project as a nonprofit to be able to align those resources and pull together both the funding sources, have the creative capital structure. We use local Oklahoma banks for that. All of that speaks to, I think, just what's happening here, and it speaks to the future of what Tulsa really can be in terms of entrepreneurship. And Tulsa was built on entrepreneurs. Sometimes people forget that, I think. They tend to look at the skyline and they see a lot of these big buildings. Well, those companies all started with 1 or 2 people. Those were all entrepreneur businesses. Those were all started as small businesses. So if you think about those as legacy businesses, what we want to make sure we're doing is providing the right infrastructure and support to grow the legacy businesses of tomorrow. That's our goal. If you think about, I mentioned this a little bit, but you think about why this is important. Why is having something like Gradient important to communities like Tulsa or to regions like the Tulsa region in Oklahoma specifically? It's because there's a shift. There is, if you think about the new economy and where people can work and how they work and what they do, you hear the term all the time, remote workers, or you can work from anywhere. That's true, you can. You can work from anywhere. The internet here is just as good as the internet in San Francisco, right? Our desks and chairs are just as comfortable. The reason that you choose to work places is because of the culture, the environment, the resources, and the connections. Those are the things, that's why you choose to work in a place. And today, what technology has allowed is that it's leveled the playing field. So 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when I started my business in Alabama, I chose not to leave Alabama, but I knew that was going to hurt my chances of success with my business. I knew, because it was a web-based, it was a software business. I knew that if I moved to San Francisco or New York or Austin, that I would have much greater chances of success. But I didn't really want to go there because I didn't like the culture. I didn't like the traffic. I didn't want to have to deal with all that stuff. My family was in Alabama, and I wanted to stay in Alabama. But I knew I was sacrificing the potential success of my business by staying in Alabama. That's changed today. That's changed. You are not sacrificing today. If you want to start a business and you want to do it here in Tulsa because you like the culture, you like the lifestyle, you like the family, you're from here, you're not having to make that choice anymore. You don't have to sacrifice a career or potential success for your business by staying here. Those things do not have to be either or any longer. And that's why we're seeing that shift. We're seeing an influx of capital that's leaving the coastal regions and coming into the heartland. We're seeing talent relocate and change and leave the coastal regions and come to the heartland. The quality of life is better, the culture is better, the climate is better, the resources are better. And if we have infrastructure like Gradient and programs and resources and partnerships to help support those individuals that want to start businesses, whether they're here or they're coming here, our long-term likelihood of success and economic impact is much greater. And that's part of the shift that you see. So what do we do? How do we do all this? We focus on educating and supporting entrepreneurs. We do it at every stage of growth. So someone who has an idea, they don't know if it's a business or not, all the way up to, hey, I have a business and I want to grow it, to now I've got a business, I'm ready to raise capital, scale it, and maybe sell the business. Every stage of entrepreneurship, we have programs and resources for. We equip those small businesses and entrepreneurs. We give them mentors. We help them with partners. We give them resources, access to capital, everything they need to put them in the best position to be successful. We're not going to guarantee they're going to be successful, but we're going to do everything we can to give them the opportunity to be successful. And we are focused exclusively, 100%. How do we measure our success? We measure it based on the long-term economic impact for Tulsa. How many jobs are created? How much investment in those companies? What are the wages paid by those companies? We look at it purely through the lens of economic impact. And the way we provide all that, the what we do, is really three key pieces. The space, the infrastructure, the support programs and the community and the mentors and the capital, all the things I've mentioned, and then all of our growth programs. So our incubator program, which is the state's largest certified incubator program. And I'll tell you, this is a little, I don't know if it's a secret, but I'll say it. The state of Oklahoma is really on the cutting edge. The Department of Commerce is fantastic in terms of support for small business and entrepreneurs. So our incubator program, companies apply to be in our incubator program. We screen the applicants, and they have to meet criteria and meet certain milestones and provide financials and all these participation pieces that we work through. But by being a state-certified incubator through the state of Oklahoma, any company that is in our incubator program pays zero corporate tax in Oklahoma for up to 10 years. When you're a startup, you're not making any money, it doesn't really matter. But the hope is that as you scale and grow, it could be meaningful, could be material. And now with some of the things that are happening in the state about reducing the cost of business licenses and to $1 and all these different things, you're seeing the Department of Commerce, especially in Oklahoma, being really focused on thinking about Oklahoma as a great place to build and grow a business, and they're putting their money where their mouth is on that. So we're the largest state-certified incubator. I think there are about 20 across the state, but we take that and we have to certify the businesses every year, and we send that to the state, who's participating and who's not, and who's graduated, and all those things. But that's a key component of the support of these entrepreneurs and these small businesses that are building and scaling. The last thing I'll mention about the space is that it's all inclusive. So as an entrepreneur, the most important thing, I don't care what anybody tells you, the most important thing is cash flow. Cash, right? Understanding your cash flow. And for entrepreneurs, typically, 1 month's great, next month's not so great. 1 month, I've got some sales, next couple of months, okay, you know what I mean, not as great. And what happens is most entrepreneurs, at least at the beginning until they stabilize, they don't have a lot of predictability on the revenue side. And they typically will go out and incur a lot of expenses that are fixed, that are long-term, and that really kill their cash flow, kill their business. So for us, being a support organization, everything is inclusive. You pay a membership fee depending on what kind of space you need, and that's all you pay. There's no utilities, there's no common area fees, there's no janitorial, you don't pay to use conference rooms, you just book all those things, it's all included with your membership. So as an entrepreneur, you know exactly what your cash flow is. You can manage that process and you control your financials. And until you get to a point of stability, that's really, really important. I'm going to mention a few things real quickly about the infrastructure of innovation. These are the components that we try our best to pull together under one roof. These are the things you need for innovation and entrepreneurship to be successful. You have to have all the right components. You got to have the people, number one, the right infrastructure, the place, the culture, the capital, and the connectivity. People have to be able to know that they are around other people that are doing the same thing. Being an entrepreneur can be lonely, super stressful, scary. When you're around a building full of other people that are all building or have built or are in the process of growing, there's something about that. That connectivity matters. The catalysts that we then layer on top of that are things like anchor institutions, so a lot of our educational partners, a lot of our community organizations that support entrepreneurs and support economic development, our programming partners that we work with to deliver all these programs, investors, we have venture capital on site, we have traditional financing on site, we have an SBA, we have a partnership with the Oklahoma SBDC, Small Business Development Center, all those resources on site. And then we have a lot of collaborations that we do with other public-private organizations. Again, we're a small nonprofit. We have a staff of 11, and we could not do it without partners, and that's incredibly important. So you put all those things together under one roof, and we frame everything under 3 pillars: connect, start, and scale. So all of our programming, all of our resources are kind of framed through those pillars: connections, starting or scaling your business, kind of what you need, where you need it, where you find it. And then we provide all of that density I mentioned earlier, the density of resources, the density of partners and other entrepreneurs. You don't have to go worry about, where do I find these people? Where do I find a good partner on technology? Where do I find an investor? Where do I find someone who knows how to raise capital or file an intellectual property brief? Where do I do all that? How do I find those things? Well, we have those in-house, so we can route you to those resources. All of our programs, I'm not going to go through them all in detail, but these are the framework for them. Connect programs are really meant to connect those entrepreneurs together. We do workshops, we do a lot of social, we do a lot of networking events. It's to people that are looking to grow their network, grow their community, grow their reach. Our START programs are really for early stage, very early stage founders, that we give them training and mentorship and put them through curriculum to get those ideas, to see if an idea really could become a business. What does that look like? How do you do that? And then ultimately our scale programs are things like our incubator program, companies that are established, looking to scale and grow, raise capital, hire, grow their teams, continue to build and grow here in Tulsa and Oklahoma. All of this leads to, well, what are the results? Why does all this stuff matter, right? In 2024, I've got the 2025 numbers, I just can't tell them to you yet because our report doesn't come out until the 19th of March. But which will be an event at Gradient. You're welcome to come. It's free. Be free food and good time. But in 2024, we supported 479 businesses. Those businesses created 3,800 jobs, and those businesses had sales of almost $148 million. These are small, early-stage businesses, right? These are entrepreneurs. Thank you. We tell that story because sometimes that gets lost. Small businesses, people don't think about, oh, these don't have as much impact as the big companies. This is significant impact on Tulsa. We look at the overall results and we say, well, how do we get that? How do those companies grow? The funding they secured, almost $96 million in funding. That comes from various sources. It's in the impact report there that's on the table. It breaks it out by source, where it's traditional debts or loan or venture capital or friends and family or fools, whatever you want to call. That $96 million in funding worked with those companies. 42 companies in 2024 received funding or secured funding. All of our members filed 11 patents, launched 75 new products. All of that, when you take all of that and you throw it into a big bucket, what does that mean for Tulsa? It means that over the last 5 years, entrepreneurs, small businesses in Tulsa have had a $1.43 billion economic impact. Those are hard dollars, direct dollars. It's not imaginary. Those are based on sales and revenues and investment in those companies. So you think about the impact that small businesses and entrepreneurs have on our region and why it matters that we should support it. This is why it matters. I'll wrap up by saying we couldn't do all this on our own. We've got incredible partners public, private partners. You recognize a lot of names there. This is not an exhaustive list, but this is about all I could fit on one slide. We've got incredible partners that help us make all this possible and support us and work with us to support these entrepreneurs. So if you are at these organizations or you know these organizations, please join me in thanking them for supporting what we do. I'm thrilled to be here. Again, it was a privilege and an honor to speak to the Rotary Club as a Rotarian. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm happy to answer any questions if there's time. If there's not, feel free to reach out to me. My email is there, our website. You can call, you can come by and visit, you can tour the building, even if you don't even want to see anything about entrepreneurs, just to see the cool building that's been remodeled and restored from its previous glory to what it is today is pretty remarkable. So we would invite you down. I'd love to have you there, and I'm also happy to answer any questions if there's time.
We've got time for a few questions. Jenny, I know you're going to have a question. I just don't know what it is yet. Do you?
I'll wait and let others go.
Okay. How many users do you have at Gradient right now? Do you know?
So we have over 4,000 members every day. Now that doesn't mean all 4,000 people are there every day, right? On a daily basis, we're seeing between 300 and 400 people a day. That's just members. That's not counting visitors, guests, those sorts of things. It also depends by the day. We're hosting the Tribal Council. Their big meetings, statewide meetings. We're hosting those today, so the building's full of people today. But on an average day, I would say we're between 300 and 400 people just that are members in the building every day.
Do you have any programs you administer associated with the tribal councils locally?
Yes, and we're working on launching some big things with them as well. Yes, the short answer is yes. The longer answer is we have a big opportunity to do some greater things, and that's coming. So yeah, we're really excited about that. Yes, sir. Super close, yes. So they actually have a physical space in Gradient. The Riata Center for Entrepreneurship has a physical space in our building. And we work closely. We go down, we mentor their students come up, and we have some of our most successful recently tech startup companies are OSU students that have come out of Riata Center. And we also work with Cowboy Ventures as well, too, on the venture side. Yep, great question. Yes, sir.
You just mentioned tech. When I think of this, I normally think of technology-oriented companies, software, computer stuff. What other kinds of businesses do you have that you work with?
Great question. I'll answer that two ways. I think today, I would challenge and say that every business at some level is a technology business, at some level. And I base that off of, I had a conversation when I was in Birmingham years ago, and I was meeting with the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama. And I was talking to him about what we were doing, and I said, well, we want your support of what we're doing. And I was framing it all as economic development, not really thinking about the tech side of it. And at the end of the meeting, I said, I know a lot of this probably doesn't resonate with you. I know you're not a tech company. And he sat up in his chair, and he looked at me, and he said, when was the last time you walked into a Blue Cross Blue Shield office to make your payment? And I said, I haven't. He said, because we don't have any. He said, I invest more in technology. If you look at my budget every year, we spend as much on technology as we do anything else. Technology enables us to deliver the service that we provide. So technology is not our business, but technology enables the delivery of our business. So I say that in that a lot of our businesses are service businesses that are enabled by technology, but we do have a lot of traditional businesses as well. We have a company, one of our companies that was featured actually in our impact report there, you'll see, is a sourdough bread company. He actually is a software developer. Came in and during COVID, got bored and started making sourdough bread. And then came to Gradient and started going through some of our business classes and our boot camps, and that launched into a sourdough company. Now he has a brick and mortar location in the Arts District, doing well. We also had a shoe company that launched, originally started through an online platform and then evolved, and that became both online and retail location as well. We have a lot of engineering companies. We have a lot of autonomous vehicle companies, drone companies. We did a big pilot with the Tulsa Fire Department about some drone fire suppression technology equipment. We have a lot of energy companies, energy adjacent companies. And surprisingly, we have a lot of, which was surprising to me, a lot of like biotech and healthcare companies, which I would not have expected when I moved to Tulsa, but we've seen an increase in that as well. It's pretty diverse. I mean, if out of 400 and whatever the number, 79, I think, businesses in 2024, it's a really diverse set of industries and businesses across the board. Great question. Great question. Okay, yes.
Would you like to speak at Camp Enterprise?
I would love to speak at Camp Enterprise. I really would. I'd love it. Thank you. I would love it. And shout out real fast. He's being so nice. Coleman right here is a visitor today. He didn't come because I was the speaker. He was just an invited guest. But his company, his business, has been a member of Gradient for 8 years. Yeah, probably close to 8 years. So I was expecting some hard questions or some, why is my door squeaking kind of questions. But I didn't get any of those. So anyway. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well done. Well done. I'm kind of paying close attention to Devin. The Birmingham Club is the largest club in the world, and I want to be like Devin when I grow up. A book honoring today's program will be donated in honor of Devin to our partner in education, Celia Clinton. This week's book is The Magic of Sharing. And Devin, if you have a moment to inscribe the inside cover of that book. Next Wednesday, we will be meeting, but not here, okay? We're going to have our business visitation day next week. If you haven't signed up yet, there's still time to do that. It's one of the most engaging ways to connect with your fellow Rotarians, learn about their businesses, and see firsthand their talents and impact within our club. The day is always inspiring, informative, and a wonderful opportunity to strengthen your friendships with other Rotarians. We hope you join us for this special Rotary tradition. Additional details are in the Monday Minute and the registration link as well. I encourage you to do that as soon as possible after the meeting today because those do tend to fill up. Tina, I think the folks who are hosting visitation provide lunch, don't they? Don't the folks hosting business visitation provide lunch for the attendees? Yeah, so you'll be fed. Don't worry. Don't miss it because you're concerned about getting something to eat. We've got some great upcoming programs. Next week again, business visitation. Don't come here. March 11th, we've got a Chamber of Commerce program with Mike Neal, Bill Knight, and Dr. Chris Robertson. They're going to tell us good news about Tulsa. I need as much of that as I can get. March 18th, you've heard some Rotary DNA. I've shared Rotary DNA with you this year. But on the 18th, Mary Beth Sawyer is going to give you some detailed DNA on nonprofit organizations that were either founded by the Rotary Club of Tulsa or specifically impacted by members of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. I'm looking forward to hearing Mary Beth's program. She's an excellent researcher and speaker. How many of you know from earlier today that the district conference is coming up on May 2nd? Did everybody hear me talk about that earlier? That's good. That stuck. At that conference, there's going to be a special Rotary Foundation banquet to honor past district governor Rolf Huffnagel and his wife Kay. How many of you remember Rolf as a district governor? Many of us know and respect him. It's going to be held that Friday evening, May 2nd at 6 o'clock. Our own multiple Rotary Award winner, Chuck Wilson, is putting together a table, a sponsorship of a table there to host for that event. Please see Chuck if you're interested in picking up a seat there at our table. Let him know if you'd like to participate. I want to take a minute and thank our Rotary sponsors. You see their placards on your table, along with the conversation starters. I don't know if anybody had a chance to use the conversation starters, but those are some of the same questions that we had at the fireside chats. But for our sponsors, thank you for that. Your sponsorships make our club able to do more things. As we leave today, may we carry Paul Harris' vision with us, finding new ways to serve, to lead with integrity, strengthen the bonds of fellowship that make Rotary so special. Thank you for being a part of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. And with that, we stand adjourned.